This episode is brought to you by Tongue FM. Tongue is a podcast player designed to help you discover the best podcasts. With Tongue, you get a feed of what your friends are recommending. You can go to tongue.fm to check out the feed. That's TUNG.FM or search tongue.fm on the App Store. Enjoy the show. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Geekcast Podcast. My name is Greg St. Clair.
Dan Whitehead.
Patrick Howard.
And welcome to the Geekcast Podcast. Now,
what episode are we on?
33.
Episode 33.
33. It's like two butts.
Wow.
Like one butt,
No, I got it.
two butt. It's like double butt.
Well, I do an O, so I do a 0.
For a butt?
No. When I put it online, it's 0 but. So it's,
Zero butt?
so it's butthole butt. Patrick, what do you think?
So anyway, tonight Gotham premiered. Season 3.
Lame.
I'm trying to keep on track. We're really on track.
No, that's fine.
Oh, for once you want to be on track?
I'm usually the one. You guys are usually...
Gotham premiered tonight.
There you go.
And it's pretty much
Actually just ended about 15 minutes ago.
It's pretty much the gist we're going to be talking about today. Sorry for the hiatus last week. It's really hard to find things to talk about for at least an hour or so.
Especially when shows aren't on.
And you have no money to go to the movies.
No money.
No money.
No money.
No money, no problem.
No 2 nickels to rub together.
No 2 nickels. I like that sound though. Kind of like gets me going.
Yeah. If you notice, you can see us now, which is pretty cool.
Look how handsome we are, man.
I say this, and then the video's not going to work.
It's not going to work at all.
So, if you don't see the video and you're just hearing us, it's because it didn't work, but let's hope it does. And assuming you do, real quick before we get into Gotham, let's take a look here. We got our fun little trinkets of stuff.
That's Dan's lunchbox that he took to work every single day.
Hopefully, if you can't see it, it's a Batman lunchbox. We might be at a different angle here, but I tried to do a theme and then I stopped. So we have. Wow, just elbowed that thing.
Right.
We have my Batman stuff up in the front.
Since we're talking about Batman today,
yes.
As you can see, this is the canvas picture that my mom so graciously got us as a housewarming gift. Thank you, Mom. We greatly appreciate it.
Thank you, Mom.
Really awesome.
And up here you can see Dan's tacky lights. I'm going to call them tacky. I'm not going to say what I call them. It's not appropriate for...
Oh, yeah, because it's never stopped you before.
Never stopped me before.
But wait, that's not all. Look. Oh, yeah.
Shit.
They blink.
I'm going to get a seizure.
Pulling out all the
You
stops,
want
man.
off?
You can turn it on. There
All
we
right.
go.
There.
Cool. So, I say we just go right into Gotham.
All right. Okay, so...
So, the season picks up.
Mm-hmm.
Season 3, Mad City. After the events that have happened at the end of Season 2, Hugo Strange is in jail. Bruce Wayne and Alfred went on a 6-month trip to gain information.
To Switzerland.
To gain information about the company that ran Indian Hill, which Indian Hill is the kind of underground experimental lab, a part of Arkham Asylum in which Hugo Strange was conducting his experiments. Fish Mooney's alive, which we've known for some time, but now she's kind of gaining back her power again with all of these freaks from Indian Hill who have weird powers. Jim Gordon is now a bounty hunter, not working on the police force anymore. And Selena Kyle is working for Fish Mooney. I'm trying to do like summaries of like things that have happened so far, and then go into more detail.
Oh, and then also we get introduced to not introduced because I guess we met him at the end of Season 2, the doppelganger of Bruce Wayne that we don't know who it is. We know he came from Indian Hill.
I call him the Jack White doppelganger because it's
Sure.
like on Jack White.
That's what Patrick calls him.
Nobody else does.
Patrick calls him that.
That's why I say
Just
I,
Patrick.
not we.
Just Patrick. So he's on the quest to find Bruce Wayne because obviously he looks like him and he has a connection to him and things like that. He kind of scares Ivy Pepper.
Why are you going into detail when we're talking about summaries right now?
I was just telling you.
No. You were telling the details.
I like the deets.
I understand the deets, but you got to chronological
order, dude.
Yes. Sorry, I had peanut butter jelly sandwich earlier, just sticking to the roof of my mouth right now. It's kind of
like a dog.
One of those.
Uh-huh.
So the episode starts off with Jim Gordon, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, flowers and chocolates in hand, outside of the house that ex-girlfriend Lee, ex-baby mama Lee, currently lives at. Before he knocks on the door, he hears some laughter. He goes in and sees that Lee has a new man.
Yes.
Sad-faced Jim.
Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, really.
That would make it.
No, it's not.
So that happens. Jim's upset, leaves. 6 months have passed once he sees this. The first thing we see, I believe,
is a cityscape.
And Jim Gordon, or I'm sorry, no,
it's
a pharmacy,
convenience store, yeah, it's a pharmacy,
is getting robbed. The nice Asian man behind the counter takes out a double barrel shotgun and goes to the person who's robbing it, and it's basically, I called it a B-movie sci-fi Killer Croc.
But he's got almost like a Stegosaurus scales on his back.
That's why I don't think he's Killer Croc.
I thought I remember reading something. It was like, first image drops of Killer Croc or whatever. So
and that was that.
I think
it was that guy.
Where CW has done more impressive makeup.
Yeah, King Shark was way better than that.
And that was CG.
But this is Fox. Come on, Fox.
Fox. I didn't think it was that bad.
It
fits for the show.
Thankfully, it was at night, so we really didn't get a good look at it compared to the day. If day, it would have been worse.
It fits for the show, but I definitely agree with Patrick of the more Stegosaurus-y look compared to a crocodile. Anyway, Jim Gordon appears at the scene with like a nightstick.
Nightstick, yeah.
Basically, like a metal nightstick, and starts fighting him. Realizes he's too strong, and then at some point or another, Jim kicks Stegosaurus man. I'm not going to call him Killer Croc because he's not Killer Croc.
Steggy.
Kicks Steggy away from him, and he goes into the street, and then a 16-wheeler just totally obliterates.
So the universe provides.
18. Did you count when it went by?
No, but when have you ever heard of a 16-wheeler? Isn't it always 18-wheelers?
I've heard both.
I've never heard of 16.
A giant fucking truck decimates Steggy. So then I think the Gotham title sequence then pops up. So that ends the cold open. And then we get to the GCPD where Commissioner...
Barnes.
Commissioner Barnes.
Is he commissioner or captain?
Captain Barnes.
He's Captain Barnes.
Is he not commissioner?
I don't think so.
Who's commissioner?
I don't know. I think he's just the captain.
Captain Barnes is now healthy after pretty much getting shot in the fucking chest.
He's got a cane.
Yeah, but he's like alive. But yeah, he's like he's like an MS type cane going on. And, I mean, that's what did you not think that? Like,
I just thought metal cane. Yeah.
It had like a wrist thing though, like one of those.
Did it?
Yeah, it definitely
I thought
did.
It was just like a hand.
And then it like also attached to his foot at the same. It was weird. Is doing a press conference, and we are introduced to the very lovely, I might add, Valerie Vale. Who we believe is either the older sister...
Oh, you know what? I think it's the aunt.
The aunt. I think it is the aunt. The aunt of Vicky Vale, the very popular news journalist in the Batman comics. But
And
because
on and off again, flame of Batman. Vicky Vale is.
Is it like a flame, or is it like,
hey,
I need something
I can only go by the
bone?
movie. I can only go by the movie, 89.
They dated here and there throughout the comics.
I don't know if it was while he was Batman. I think it was a pre-Batman.
Well, it was only when he was Bruce.
I know, but like he wasn't Batman yet, I feel like. I don't know. I'm not really sure. I'm not that educated on the subject. But anyway, we introduced to her, and just like her niece is going to be, very persistent about the different things that are happening.
Should make Lois Lane proud.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And by the end of that, I believe it cut.
Penguin comes in.
Of course. Go ahead.
Right, so
take it over.
So Oswald Cobblepot comes in and he introduces himself, and then Barnes is like, "We all know who you are, Penguin." And Oswald basically says, the police aren't going to do anything. We have to make it do it ourselves. And the one responsible is Fish Mooney. And they're like, "You're crazy. She's been gone, whatever." He's like, no, it's her. And then it goes, and we kind of stick with Penguin for a bit, and he goes to
Jim.
he sees Jim, and it's like, "Oh, I see you're a bounty hunter now, and a guy for hire or something." And then
he's like, "Why haven't you gotten fish yet?" And Jim says, "You haven't made it worth my while."
Right, and so then of course Penguin finds that very interesting, and blah blah blah, and then he goes to the it's a nightclub. That I thought it was going to be his, and I was hoping it was going to be.
I thought it was
going to be
at first.
The Iceberg Lounge, which would have been really cool.
It would have been cool.
That's the Penguin.
But it's not yet though. We're going to get
too soon.
Maybe at the end of the season.
We'll definitely get that.
Yeah,
we'll definitely get that.
And it turned out to be Barbara Keene and Gallivan. What's her first name? Gallivan's sister. They're like dating, I guess. And
honestly, I barely remember season 2. Actually,
and
Patrick was so drunk when he watched season 2.
So drunk. He was chocolate wasted. Anyway, and they own this nightclub now, and Butch, of course, is there, and he
Tabitha.
Yes,
her name is Tabitha.
And Butch is having a tough time seeing her because he really was into her, and then they ended it, and then she's now dating a girl.
But did you mention that Penguin wants to kind of have a stake in this club? He wants in on it. He wants in on it basically, and Barbara's like, "Nah, I don't think so." But Penguin's like, "Nah, I'm sure you do." But she's like, "Nah, fuck off." So then they leave.
Yeah, and then he basically tells Butch, "Get over it," and Selena comes up. This is when we're first introduced Selena to the episode. And she's like, "Hey, Butch, why the long face?" And the whole time she's moving around him and ends up grabbing his wallet. And he's looking away, and he's like, "Oh, you couldn't help me, blah, blah, blah." And then she's like, "Yeah, whatever," and walks away.
Trying to be nice to somebody.
Yeah, walks away with her wallet after trying to be nice. And Penguin comes up to him and says, "Oh, get over it," and she just stole your wallet. And so we follow her out, and she meets up with Ivy Pepper, and while she's walking by, she goes, "Here, hey kid, take this." And then
it's just some kid digging through the trash.
But it turns out to be the Bruce Wayne doppelganger. Yes.
Jack Wayne.
We're not, no.
I'll take that.
I'm trying to help you out, bud.
Thank you.
I'm looking out for you.
Somebody has to.
Not the schmuck.
What a schmuck. And then Greg looked at scores on his phone. And
sorry, fantasy football's happening right now. I gotta make sure I win this
priority.
Just kidding. What else happened?
And then Penguin went to visit the Riddler.
Yes. Talk about that.
The Penguin went to visit the Riddler to ask. Basically, what was the conversation?
It was honestly just Penguin has been periodically visiting Riddler in Arkham Asylum just to maintain that friendship.
It's kind of like a cathartic thing that he does, and he brings him this little present. It's almost like a Chinese puzzle box that he says that nobody has been able to solve for 7 generations. And of course, Riddler does it within 20 seconds. Mm-hmm. It's funny. I didn't see what was in it. I think it was
nothing.
It was nothing. Okay, I didn't think
puzzle boxes are just puzzle boxes.
They're just puzzle boxes. Yeah. And Penguin's is at his wit's end now because he just wants to bring down Fish Mooney. So he kind of just asks the Riddler just one last time, what do I need to do? What can I do? And he kind of just takes some of the piece of paper that was the box was wrapped in, does a little origami of a penguin, sets it in front of him, says, "Where penguins eat fish."
Pretty cool.
Yeah,
pretty cool. Because we've been saying that. Other people have been saying that for a while now. But that's the whole thing. And penguins also eat fish, but you know what they don't do?
What?
Slam their elbows on the table.
Did I slam my elbows?
I did. Did you really hear that? I went that was.
So.
hey, you're overlooking the fact that I was able to actually.
Do we have to bring up the video?
I know. Can we, I think we do acknowledge the fact that Patrick actually remembered something from an episode.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay.
That doesn't happen a lot.
Now,
It really doesn't.
if you were one of our 3 original fans and you went and you were listening to older episodes, we'd say, Patrick, sum up the episode you just saw 5 minutes ago about the Flash or whatever, and he'd be like,
fuck, I can't remember.
Felicity was there.
and then we'd have to
was
take
really
it back.
fast.
Yeah, and he was wearing a red suit. And anyway,
So from here, I believe Vicky Vale finds Jim Gordon alone at a bar.
yes.
But he has to move now. So.
And talks his ear off.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry.
Isn't it?
No, Penguin goes to. Where does he go to say the ransom?
Was it back at Gotham?
It was back at the bar. Sorry, we missed something. When he was back at the bar talking to Barbara and Tabitha, he said that there's a $1 million bounty on Fish Mooney's head, alive, dead, or chopped into pieces, something like that.
Yes.
So that happened. So again, fast forward to I think I said fash forward.
You did say fast forward.
Flash
I want to say flash or fast, but fash came out of my mouth.
Okay, well, we fast forward.
We fast forward to Valerie talking to Jim Gordon at this bar, and by the end of the she's like annoying the shit out of him. And by the end of the conversation, she's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, Fish Mooney's bounty's $1 million." Mm-hmm. And Jim's like, "Oh,
damn,
time to go make some motherfucking money." So Jim goes to Bullock, and I think he went to Bullock before, which we didn't mention, but it's okay because at that moment, Lucius Fox now works for the GCPD, which is kind of cool. And so we'll probably be seeing a lot more of him.
Did you notice like he was doing almost like a Morgan Freeman kind of like he had some of the cadence?
I didn't really pick up on it.
I thought it was curious somewhere.
I think there might have been like 1 or 2 things, but I still think he's his own dude. I think that actor does a really good job of playing Lucius.
He's basically Riddler. Like he's filling in for Enigma now that he's in prison.
Mm-hmm. Except without all
replaced him.
Yeah, except without all the. Well, no, that's still his job. I'm sorry.
He's in the science and research department, right?
So Lucius says that Steggy, the aforementioned Steggy, was looking for a certain type of medicine that's only sold at 3 different pharmacies in the entire city. Mm-hmm. And Lucius eventually finds out where the stuff's made. So Jim goes to check out where it's made, and before he gets there, Fish Mooney gets there with Kat and 2 of her Indian Hill monsters, and are again looking for this medicine. One of the Indian Hill monsters, excuse me, walks up to the researcher and grabs his hand or grabs his arm, and the dude turns super old and dies. So that happened. Then Jim gets there, sees Fish Mooney.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. Another really cool thing is that Fish Mooney's powers, remember from the end of season 2, is that she touches people and kind of manipulate their actions. So after the researcher died, a security officer with a gun shows up, and he starts to cuff her, but she grabs his hand. She's like, drop the gun. And he drops the gun. She's like, okay, now go knock yourself out. And the dude just like runs into like a metal cabinet, smacks his head, just drops. It's pretty sweet. So Jim comes by, and she's like, "Are you gonna cuff me?" He's like, "No, cuff yourself." He's like, "Are you alone?" And he's like, "No, I brought him." And it's basically this like vampire, bats, Twilight, Van Helsing looking motherfucker.
Yep. With sunglasses on and all that.
Yeah, he did not have sunglasses. Oh, he did initially, didn't he?
Yeah.
I think he got knocked off eventually. But they had this fight and he ends up getting away. So from here, I don't know what happened.
It ends up. Well, we can just speed up the process. We don't have to do a play-by-play. So eventually, Jim ends up finding. He goes with Vicky Vale because she finds him at the bar again, and he's like, "Yeah, now I definitely have to change my bar location." And then they decide to pursue Miss Peabody, who was the partner,
the assistant of Hugo Strange.
Assistant of Hugo Strange. And it turns out that they were being used as bait by Fish Mooney to find Miss Peabody, so they kind of have to get out of there.
Which Jim knew, Valerie didn't.
Yes. And in comes The girl looked like Tabitha with that mask on. That's what I thought it was, but I guess it's not.
It was like a Tabitha Predator hybrid.
It was like a Mortal Kombat Scorpion.
And then also apparently Quicksilver's in this universe.
He wasn't moving fast. He was teleporting.
No, he was moving fast.
Was he?
Yeah,
I thought it was teleportation.
No, he was moving fast because I remember in the promo for the next episode, he's like
saw the waves.
Yeah, he's like moving fast. The kid has white hair, raggedy clothes, basically Quicksilver.
Well, and then that vampire guy comes back again, and him and Jim are going at it, blah blah blah, and then he kind of tries to jump out a window, and Jim grabs him by his feet, and he's like wrestling with him, and all of a sudden bat wings pop out.
So we think he's Man-Bat.
He's definitely
a version of Man-Bat.
A version of
At least
Man-Bat. Their version.
Definitely
Virgil,
not the actual
Virgil,
Man-Bat. I forget his name.
Something.
Definitely the show's version of Man-Bat.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a version. I don't think it's the version. I think they can.
Well, it's never the version.
I think they can definitely do like the original version of that, but
at least like till the season finale. That's when we could see like a full
next season.
Or I don't know.
What do you got? Well, I'll keep going while you're looking at it. So
Kirk Langstrom, way off.
Who's Virgil? I don't know.
Virgil Hawkins, Static Shock.
Nah, I don't know. But it's a doctor. Okay. Anyway, Man-Bat's not one of my favorites.
It's interesting. I think the storyline's interesting, but I mean, it's definitely.
I mean, he's in the first episode of the animated series.
Yes, he is.
It's a one-off villain, most definitely. And with this whole Mad City thing, where they're bringing up all these weird characters from Indian Hill, they have no time for that this season. Mm-hmm. They got to make sure they're doing all this shit.
And they're bringing in the Mad Hatter.
And Joker's coming back.
So they say.
Jerome.
Jerome is coming back.
Jerome's coming back, but still, yeah, he dropped it. Awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
Jerome was like one of the peaks of season 2 for sure.
I think he was the best part. I truly think he was my favorite person in season 2. That like wasn't Jim or Alfred
or Bruce or we haven't really talked about Bruce. So Bruce has his own story where he basically goes and confronts the board of Wayne Enterprises and basically tells them, I know one of you is in this group and you were responsible for me ending up at Indian Hill. You have 24 hours, whoever you are, to come like confront me or whatever, like talk to me about it, or else kind of a thing.
Well, he while he was in Switzerland for 6 months, he gathered all this information that could totally I don't know what to say.
Expose.
Thank you. Expose Wayne Enterprises. Expose this group of people who did all these terrible things. Mm-hmm. So that's like his blackmailing. That's his leverage. So Bruce goes to talk to Selena one time. Now that he's back,
he finds her on the roof and
at the pigeon coop
to basically, apologize for like ditching without saying goodbye, and he felt really bad about it. And then he wanted to tell her that to kind of look out because they may know that they're friends, like the people of Wayne Enterprises and stuff may know they're friends. And she kind of like gives him the cold shoulder, F you kind of a thing. And she kind of blows him off and goes down the roof and leaves.
And then when she leaves, Bruce is like, nice seeing you, Selena, then starts to walk away. And then we see from around the corner where the stairwell is, doppelganger Bruce Wayne is on the roof. Mm-hmm. So he like sees him and like knows that like actual Bruce Wayne exists. At the end, we don't see Bruce again until the end of the episode.
Nope.
And what happens is Alfred's locking up the house. And after Bruce had the meeting with the board, a woman wearing an owl mask, we're assuming Court of Owls here, tells one of her, I'm going to say hit owls, to...
Hench owls.
Hench owls. I like that a lot better.
I'm not sure it's the one from the storyline, like the main one.
The woman? No, I don't think so either.
No, the actual hitman.
Oh.
They had like this main owl hitman.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Maybe, I don't know.
I'm not entirely sure. But to go get Bruce Wayne. So as Alfred's locking up the house at the end of the episode at night, this dude's in the house. So Alfred goes all Alfred on him. However, is eventually subdued and I'm pretty sure knocked unconscious.
Yeah.
And Bruce comes in and it's like, Alfred, what happened? And checks to see if Alfred, breathing, tries to wake him up, and then gets chloroformed. and taken her out of the house. Which to my reaction was, God, what a terrible detective.
And we had to of course, defend him and say he's still learning and training. And
Batman's overrated. Lesson learned, kids. Batman's overrated.
No, he's not. Arguable. But that's not the end of the episode. The end of the episode is basically... what is the end of the episode?
It's when Poison Ivy is caught.
Oh yeah, so Poison Ivy, basically, to fast forward a bit, stumbles upon Selena and Fish's...
Follows Selena to Fish's secret hideout.
And stumbles upon it, and then they're like, "Oh, this is a spy." No, and Selena's like, "No, it's not a spy. She's my friend." Blah blah blah.
And then Ivy's like, "You better let me go, or I'll tell." And Selena's like, "You dumb bitch." Her face was like, "Oh my god."
I'm trying to save you here, yeah. So then Ivy takes off running, and then she's like, "Leave me alone," and they run down the stairs and then out this door.
And then that masked woman tries to get her, but she kind of falls into this open.
What's the girl she looks like in Mortal Kombat?
Scorpion or something.
Okay, so Scorpion's chasing her then.
Scorpiana.
Scorpiana. There you go.
Scorpiana is chasing her, and then she kind of stops short because she sees down in this pit is dirty.
It's like a dirty pipeline with an
sewer.
Open.
And then there was kind of a couple cheesy lines in there, kind of forced lines, and Selena's like, "Watch out!" And then somebody grabs her, the old man, the sucking guy,
the
life sucking guy,
the fountain of old. I don't know.
So I think the touch,
that was
his
terrible.
touch, and then whatever the hell is in that sewer is gonna chemically make her sexy.
Well, no,
Adult Poison Ivy.
Adult Poison Ivy.
I think it has nothing to do with the sewer. He touched her for maybe 3 to 5 seconds. His power is to make people older. The more he holds on to them, the older they get, and the older you get,
But what about that
die.
plant element of she's immune to all poison?
I think she gets that eventually. I don't know if the sewer's going to cause that. That's dumb if it does.
I don't know, that just reminds me of it's from the movie Batman '89 with the Joker, how he just transformed after going through some sewer.
But that was
chemicals.
acid.
I know,
that
it's
he
just
fell in.
something like that, some chemical. I think
No,
was
but
in
that
the
makes
sewer.
sense because if it would have been
The combination of that,
a 10-year difference.
Yeah. It was so that's what makes her older. Definitely, as far as getting her plant powers, I don't think the sewer thing's it yet.
I know that she might submerged from
they're
the
making
sewer
it seem
or the
that way, with promotional material. But
I think she submerged from the water and then just smacks her elbows on the table. That's what I think happens.
maybe.
It was not as loud as you're making it.
Well, I guess the recording will tell.
I guess so.
But what my prediction is that she gets a little bit older, she gets a little bit wiser, and she comes back to Fish Mooney and is like, "Hey, I kind of want to work for you." And by this point, Fish Mooney has found this medicine that sustains her powers. And I think through some form of this is how Ivy gets her powers.
Yeah.
That's my prediction.
The one thing is, I really thought the girl playing the younger Ivy Pepper was doing a nice job. It kind of sucks that's it for her. She falls down a hole and that's it. Now she comes back as a whole.
I was just
different
wondering
actress.
how they were going to do the change to the older actors.
I think it'll work. I'll believe it now because at first I was kind of this isn't going to play off well. I'm not going to believe this. But I
believe anything.
I would buy this. But yeah, I just hope they do that storyline well because she's an interesting character. And Ryan Harmon, if you're watching this, your girl Poison Ivy's coming. So
Yeah, look out, bud.
yeah,
He's probably not watching this.
nobody's watching this, but that's okay,
Except our mothers.
except our mothers.
Jim Gordon's story arc by the end of it's like, oh yeah, let the police handle it now. For now.
I need a drink.
And him and Val
You're saying
kind of
that?
have a
Gordon says that.
Oh,
him and Val can have a nice conversation, and Val's like, "Hey, Gordon." Nah, never mind. It's kind of nice. I think Gordon's got a little bit of the yellow fever. Can I say? I shouldn't have said
know.
that.
No,
I shouldn't have said that.
You
wow,
I was hoping.
that was Greg. Greg said that.
Can I not say jungle fever either?
I wouldn't.
No.
He is interested.
That's less specific.
in Valerie
She
Vale.
got jungle fever. It's a song. Stevie Wonder sang it.
Wasn't it Michael Jackson?
Stevie Wonder. He was blind. He's blind. He's still alive.
Anyway, so that pretty much is the whole episode in a nutshell. I guess we could talk about real quick what we kind of think is going to happen for the rest of the season as it stands right now. We saw a bit of a preview for next week. It kind of looks like shit is hitting the fan like quick.
Yeah.
Like the next episode looks pretty intense.
They're really pushing this Indian Hill thing. Fish is basically found out from Peabody from this episode. The only person
She's dead, by the way. Peabody's gone.
Peabody's gone, and the more these people who were created in Indian Hill use their powers, the faster they're going to die, basically, because their cells are rejecting each other. So Peabody tells Fish the only person who could fix them is Hugo Strange. So the way the preview looks like for next episode is that Fish is going to find Hugo Strange and kind of convince him to give her the powers. And obviously Strange wants to get out. So of course
some deal's gonna be made.
Yeah, absolutely. Penguin. I don't know if he's gonna. He had a gun to Fish's head.
I know it's gonna be a cop out though. They're gonna.
I don't think that's next episode. That can't be next episode. That's so much.
Yeah, but here's the thing: is if you notice, or I noticed at least, I take the time to read some of the credits, in the beginning, and if you look, it said special guest star Jada Pinkett Smith. So she's not a series regular for this season.
Okay.
But
even then, you think they would drag that out at least to the mid-season, then kill her off? That seems a little too early.
No,
maybe just.
they're definitely not going to kill her off. But I'm just saying, the whole gun to her head thing. I think it's way too early to have that moment in the season so far.
Penguin is clearly blindsided to having to get Fish. There's no other thing he's worried about right now except for that. He has. Well, think about it. I mean, the dude has no mom. He's got no dad anymore. It's literally just him. I guess Butch, but he's such a revenge-driven character right now. I said to them at the beginning of the episode that this dude needs an Emmy. Robin Lord Taylor. So good in the role. I mean, I really don't have any problems with the casting so far. I mentioned that during the episode too.
Some of the actors who play the villains mug a tad, but they're the villains. They're allowed.
But the main cast, even the supporting players, the Penguins and the Riddlers and all those guys are great casting.
The only character I hated the most in the beginning was Barbara Keene, just because I wasn't totally. I mean, you think Barbara Keene, who's currently engaged to Jim Gordon, she's the stereotypical comic book character, and they were getting away. They were getting away from that very quickly in the show, and I was kind of holding on to that idea of her, but the way they're taking her right now is really cool. I think it creates a lot more depth within the series. It creates a lot more opportunities for things to happen as far as the underground scene of Gotham goes. And I'm actually really interested to see just what happens when this is all over.
I just think it's because they're getting comfortable and kind of feeling like they can stretch their wings a little bit here as far as not trying to stick to canon so much that they can kind of deviate. Obviously, like you kind of were alluding to, Barbara Keene is the fiance and then wife of Jim Gordon. That's it. That's all she ever was, right? But in this incarnation, we're seeing her as something more and something no one else has done before, right? So how many times have we seen Bruce Wayne or Jim Gordon and all that stuff? But yet they still seem new and fresh and stuff like that because it's a different perspective.
I don't know if we've ever seen Bruce and Selena together as
kids.
As kids. It's
we've never stayed
adults,
with them this long as a kid. So that's right off the bat was the interesting draw to the show. But even I know a lot of people are worried about Penguin and Riddler, they're at their prime ages right now, and Bruce is 15, whatever. But you think about it, Bruce in about 10 years from now will be Batman, say the start of Batman,
Penguin's
or whatever.
In his 40s or something like that.
Penguin?
When Batman's
when he's
in his
Batman.
prime, they're always older.
They're older.
Him.
They're not his age.
No, it's great.
So I think the timeline right now is working perfectly. I think the show itself is working perfectly. I think and they're making an idea that easily could have been nothing more than one season, because it easily could have been a one season thing and that was it, and then after that it would have been stretched out. But they're finding a way to make it season 3, and I could probably even season 4 and so on.
They're taking simple comic book ideas for this season. For an example, Indian Hill, which is touched on in the comics and is part of the Arkham Asylum story arc. But they're going into depth with it in such a way, in such a different timeline, that it's such a fresh idea.
Right.
And it's really, really cool.
And that's why I hope, and I don't think it will, but if they bring, obviously, Black Lightning TV series coming to Fox.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
You have the CW shows. I know people have said like they should do some kind of crossover with I think Gotham
Lightning. I
should
think it's
be
gonna be a
its
lighter. That's
individual
lighter
thing.
show.
In the preview for the second episode, it looked like there was a character who kind of mastered the power of lightning. It appeared so.
Right.
Therefore, in the way these monsters are being created right now, maybe Bruce Wayne kind of gets clouded, or Jim Gordon kind of gets clouded, or somebody does about these whole monsters, and the Black Lightning character kind of comes in and gives them a reality check. Because
they gotta do the pilot first. Like,
I know, but
yeah,
is just in general, like after the season, like obviously like monsters are roaming Gotham. Like it's a pretty fucked up thing. Mm-hmm. So everybody's ideologies on this whole thing can be kind of different, and this is the first time really in this in the show that we're seeing more DC type characters in this world. And what I mean by that is like right now we've only seen Batman. Batman's a normal dude. He fights relatively normal people. No like, you know, abilities to fly or super fast or have lightning shooting out of their hands. This is the first time really being introduced to this type of thing, which is a normal DC occurrence, is these weird metahumans, exactly. So I think that, I hope they continue with it, and if so, I think that does create a pathway for Black Lightning to get on the show. I'll be indifferent either way. He's not on it. I won't be mad if he's on it. As long as they do it well, I won't be mad. But I think it's definitely a possibility.
I feel like it would be something of a cop-out or a viewer grab if they kind of did it, especially because
I mean they would,
Gotham is so established now.
It's so established now, and I feel like if it was any possibility of that even happening, it'd be a Jim Gordon to him. I don't know why, but it would. And I think it's the same thing of what Supergirl did with Flash.
Yeah.
If it ever comes to that, because they're not getting the ratings. That's the only reason Flash is on Supergirl. Mm-hmm. Only reason.
Right. Which was probably their strongest episode because it was so fun. And just to touch on that, I guess, real quick. And their relationship was interesting because there was no, like, oh, they're just going to end up together and, like, liking each other. It was just genuinely they're friends. And,
yeah.
And they're both, like, very dorky characters, very cute, adorkable characters. So just having those two together is great.
Can I make a bold prediction?
Sure.
For the end of Gotham?
End of, like, the show
season?
ever? Or
season.
The season? Okay.
Butch kills Tabitha. Calling it.
I can see that, actually.
And that's what I think is kind of like is like the end of the Barbara Keene, not the end of the Barbara Keene thing, but like she's done with this life, and I think she's going to go like towards a more downward spiral after that. But they alluded to it so hard in this first episode. Penguin's like, I would have killed you if it wasn't for Butch. I would have shot you in the fucking head because you killed my mother, bitch, basically. And they mentioned it at least 3 times. At least 3 times.
It's going to be like that, why won't you love me, then he kills her.
Yeah. So yeah, I definitely, I think she's just going to like fuck him over somehow, and he's just like, you know what, I'm done. And then that's what happens. But bold prediction for the season.
Okay. Fish Mooney is not gonna make it. And she's gonna be done, and that's it forever. Like when they...
Wow. Bold prediction,
well,
Dan.
That's what I'm thinking, and my bold prediction will be that...
I don't think... You think Captain Barnes is going to make it? I don't think he...
No,
he's not... That's my prediction.
I think he's dead this season.
Yeah.
No offense, Michael Chikos, we love you, but you're definitely...
In fact, he's getting more crippled through the season.
Yeah.
You and your tight black shirts.
Yeah. I do like Michael Chiklis, though. I think he's a good actor.
What's my bold prediction? You kind of took a good one. I think we're going to see Bruce start to see, or like, travel outside of Gotham for some kind of training.
I like to see more kung fu training, Bruce.
Yeah, some kind of big move in the training world. That's what I think it's going to be.
Okay. I'm not going to like judge it or anything, but...
You think it's stupid?
Yeah. I think it's too soon. I think it's way too soon.
Something. It's just like a dip in the toe in it.
He dips the toe in every fucking season.
Okay,
he's like 2 toes in right now.
The third toe there.
So, this toe.
The equivalent of the middle finger.
Yeah.
We gotta sanitize this table now.
Yeah, these 3 toes.
Yeah, really. We eat on this. Ew.
Fuck.
This is my section. I eat on this side.
Whatever. Patrick,
What?
what's your bold prediction?
If you have any.
I can't be mine.
Which is?
Captain Barnes is not going to make it.
I thought you were asking a question.
No, I did ask a question, but I'm still confident he's going to die.
How long do you think Bullock's going to keep lasting?
I think he'll make it.
You think so?
Yeah.
At least to like the second last season of the show. I mean,
Yeah.
that's gonna be like the turning point for Jim.
I'll tell you what. Yeah, however the series goes, in those last couple moments where they're like really like just finishing it up and trying to get it going, I do think Bullock's going to die eventually.
That's gonna be the last straw.
Yeah, and you know what? I will cry. I love Bullock's probably my favorite character.
Yeah.
Great, best for the common reliefs. Actually, a decent person, but like acts like he's a lovable character. I love him.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, he clearly wants what's best for Jim, which is nice because originally, obviously, the first season, or like the first couple episodes of the first season, he wanted nothing to do with Jim Gordon, and now like seems to generally care for him. So, which is nice character arc. I don't know. I feel like because he's so well known in the Batman universe as like the detective. Like you have Montoya, which did they get into Montoya at all?
Have they not referenced her?
No?
I thought she.
When wasn't there like a?
I thought in the
male
first
and
season.
female
Yeah,
shot?
Montoya was the first season that had the lesbian relationship with Robert Keane. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
Yes,
she was the ex-girlfriend.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So they kind of did Montoya, and they did that. So I feel like the other famous cop other than Jim and Montoya is Bullock.
But I mean, that would be.
I understand that.
That'd be like a great.
But it's a great emotional,
But I guess
tear jerking,
especially for like the last
moment.
season, it's like a mid-season
when we're
finale.
never
like
going to
that.
see him.
Exactly,
as Batman.
they're not doing like series 2. David Mazouz as Batman.
I mean, like
honestly,
you said,
I don't want to see that. I really don't. I'm sorry, David. Unless you like take some steroids, you
Yeah,
can't.
the kid's 12, or 13, 14, 15, whatever. He's a young kid.
No, I know, I understand that. I'm just saying, but like even like now.
But I think you said that. Yeah, they're obviously taking obvious characters and obvious storylines in a different direction. So really, they can do whatever the fuck they want. Honestly.
But honestly, writers at Fox, when you're like on your last like bit of dust writing this shit, and you just need a really great idea, kill Bullock. Do it in the nicest way possible, though. Don't do it the same way that Arrow killed off Laurel. That was so set up. It was so basic. Nobody gave a shit.
Back. She's going to be back in the premiere.
It's a flashback, though, isn't it?
I don't know.
It's a flashback.
It's gotta
Has
be
to be.
It's gotta be a flashback.
Probably going to find out what she said to him.
Yeah, but just don't do it that way. Bullock's one of the
Deserves
best,
better than that.
deserves better than that. He's one
Like
of
a
the,
blaze of glory.
he's one of the best characters you got going. You got to treat him well if you do it.
It's probably going to
Don't do
be
it,
like
do it,
a
whatever.
takes a bullet for Jim kind of thing. In front of Jim.
No,
That's just such a cliche in the cop.
I know.
I know. Yeah,
that's why
it
that's why I don't want that. I'd rather him being like tortured by Penguin or somebody. I kind of want Penguin to kill him. I kind of do because that would really set Jim over the edge.
Because that would also escalate Penguin. Because
Yeah.
Do you think this season we will see Jim mustached?
No,
No.
I hope not.
They do like.
I know he's got to earn that
I
mustache.
hope not.
I really think the mustache is going to come the last season of the show.
I think it's not going to come until I don't think it's going to come until he's back on the police force,
Yes.
until he's captain, and then he's commissioner. The second he's commissioner, he'll get the mustache.
I bet you here. Okay, here's how I see the show ending. Right. So you say Bullock's gone, whatever, right? And then they're gonna jump ahead a couple of months, and you're gonna. I love these shots. Okay, so they come in and it's the back of the character. You know how I like these shots. And he walks in through Gotham, the GCPD, and he comes up on that the stage kind of up a bit, and he turns around and he's got the start of the mustache going, right? Maybe he's got the glasses on too, and people are like clapping because as he's coming in, he's like the new commissioner,
Yeah, like the
James
mayor's there or
Gordon,
something, yeah.
right? And then so he's got his back, and then he turns around and he's like, let's stop these criminals or something like that, right? And he's got the fucking mustache.
I want him on the rooftop.
That was so
I'm
loud.
sorry. That really peaked.
I totally agree. I like your idea of like him getting commissioner, but I simply don't see his face until he's on the rooftop
And he turns on the bat signal.
with the bat signal.
Well, it can't be the bat signal. It's got to be just like a light in the sky, maybe. Because the bat signal, like, it's supposed to be just the start of Batman, the start of it all, right? So how would he have... I like this idea, I do. But I don't know if he'd have the bat signal.
3 months before is when we first see the Batman.
Or maybe
there's like reported
words,
sightings or
yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, there's sightings. And this is like when Jim like first gets maybe like the commissioner job or something. 3 months later, terror in Gotham, blah, 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 blah. This is terrible. This is basically hell on earth. And then we see Jim going up to the rooftop, headlight, then we have the bat signal, because it's been like 3 months have passed now. We kind of know there's a Batman that exists. It sets up that he would work with the Batman then, and then that's when you see everything.
I don't want to...
Or maybe it's mustache first, bat signal, Batman.
Yeah, Batman, they said, is going to be like the final shot.
Yeah.
Right? Is the donning of the cowl. So,
but I don't want it to be like just